Hi, I'm Lori. Welcome to our next chapter, Life After Corporate. My husband Ken and I retired from corporate life, and now we're building a freedom-first lifestyle through real estate and other projects while actually enjoying the life we worked for. We live in Boise, Idaho, but we also spend time in Seattle, where our yacht is kept in Elliott Bay. You'll see everyday life, hangar days, marina weekends, tennis and cooking, behind the scenes of our projects, and plenty of cameos from Lexi, our Pekingese Chihuahua with a big personality. And you'll also meet my 95-year-old mother. I take her to Catholic Church in Glens Ferry twice a month, and she's one of the best parts of this chapter. If you love real-life lifestyle, routines, and a little adventure, subscribe and come along with us. One question we often get is whether we haul Lady Georgia out of the water for the winter. For us, the answer is usually no. Here in Seattle, the winters are fairly mild compared to places where lakes freeze or boats have to be winterized. Elliott Bay Marina is a year-round marina, so Lady Georgia can stay safely in her slip with shore power, proper lines, fenders, and regular checks. That way, we get to enjoy our second home in Seattle all year long. Boats usually need to come out of the water every few years for bottom maintenance. Things like pressure washing the hull, removing marine growth, refreshing the bottom paint, and servicing the propellers, shafts, zincs, and other running gear. But this year, they found some issues. So Lady Georgia was out of the water for 3 months, February through April, in Seaview West Boatyard near Shilshole Bay in Seattle. This day in late April is what they call Splash Day, where they use a boat lift to bring it back to the water and gently set it down. Ken was there for 2 reasons. 1, to be a spectator to watch the boat lift operations, and 2, to be the captain once the boat is in the water to remove it from its slip. Lady Georgia weighs about 80,000 pounds or 40 tons. It's amazing to see her supported on wood blocking and metal boat stands. Our boat mechanics Brent and Gibran were there to help. Since it's the first time starting the engines in 3 months, they need to be on hand. Below Lady Georgia's name on the back of the boat, it says Boise, Idaho. When people see that, we get a lot of questions about how did we get the boat from Boise to Seattle? Even though Lady Georgia lives here in Seattle, her hailing port says Boise, Idaho because that's our home. A boat's hailing port doesn't always mean that's where the boat is physically kept. It can be the owner's hometown or the place they want the boat to be identified with. After being lowered back into the water, Ken brought Lady Georgia from the boatyard to guest moorage in Shilshole Bay Marina so the mechanics could do the sea trial checks and make sure everything felt smooth, checking for vibration, leaks, anything unusual with the props, shafts, and running gear. While walking back to the boatyard to get the car, Ken saw some friends sunning themselves on the boat slips in the marina. These are actually California sea lions, which are quite common in Seattle. The last time I was on the boat was last November. When we walked onto the boat on this trip in June, this was the state of affairs. Quel disaster. Two mechanics were still working on some final items for us, so they had tarps laid down, tools, equipment, and furniture were stacked around the salon. Because some of the work done was down in the engine room, Ken basically had to bring up most of what was in the engine room up to the salon and use it as a storage room. And to add to it, Ken had ordered several things on Amazon to be delivered that he needed to do some boat projects this week. They have Amazon lockers in the marina. It's pretty convenient. Ken put up the American flag on the back of the boat. On a boat, the flag at the stern is the national ensign, showing the vessel's country. When you visit a foreign country by boat, it's customary to fly that country's small courtesy flag as a sign of respect. The next afternoon, we got a call from our friend Sabrina, who had come to Seattle from Missoula to go horse shopping. We met up to have lunch at Duke's, which is a great seafood restaurant right on Lake Union where we used to keep the boat. And its upper-level outdoor patio has a fantastic view of the lake. After lunch, we took Lexi for a walk around Lake Union, our old stomping grounds, as we had a slip in South Lake Union for several years. We were on the east side of the lake where you can rent paddleboards and kayaks. Over on North Lake Union is Gasworks Park, where Seattle turned an old gas plant into one of the city's most iconic parks. And every 4th of July, this whole area becomes one of the best fireworks viewing spots in Seattle. They bring a fireworks barge out onto Lake Union, and the show lights up the sky right in front of the Gasworks Park, with the city skyline in the background. We were invited over to dinner by Ken's sister Carolyn and her fiancé Ben, who live in Shoreline, about 8 miles north of Elliott Bay's The Crow Flies, but a 45-minute drive in good traffic. They recently remodeled their home overlooking Puget Sound, and the home and the views were absolutely stunning as we enjoyed an incredible Thai dinner and sunset together. next morning, we ran some errands to work on some boat projects, and our first stop was the Canvas Supply Company in Ballard, where we dropped off the cover to the dinghy to be repaired. They have quite an operation and have actually done a lot of work on the interior of the boat over the years, including new carpeting, upholstering the couch, making custom bedspreads, mattresses, and fitted sheets. When the boat was remodeled, they expanded the flybridge, installed new vinyl and countertops. They are very experienced and have always done a great job. Our next stop was to Waypoint Marine, where we'll be bringing the dinghy in soon to get serviced. In Seattle, a lot of smaller boats are in dry stack moorage, those tall metal rack systems where forklifts lift the boats in and out of storage. It was time for lunch. We chose Ray's Boathouse near Ballard, right on Shilshole Bay, one of Seattle's classic waterfront seafood spots. It started as a boat rental and bait house back in the 1930s and later became famous for fresh Pacific Northwest seafood, sunsets over Shilshole Bay, and the views of the Olympic Mountains. We enjoyed a healthy and delicious lunch. There's a large open wooden deck outside the restaurant, so we walked out to the water to enjoy the views. This dock near Ray's used to be a favorite sunning spot for sea lions, but a pipe was added as a deterrent to keep them from hauling out there. As cute and noisy as they are, sea lions are extremely heavy and can damage docks. And they're wild animals, so marinas have to balance protecting the animals with keeping the dock safe. These are the beautiful views of Puget Sound you'll see from the restaurant. Seattle is full of movable bridges because the city is built around working waterways. On our way back to Lady Georgia, we got stopped on 15th Avenue at the Ballard Bridge while a barge passed through Salmon Bay and the Ship Canal. It's one of Seattle's classic bascule bridges, basically a drawbridge where the two leaves lift up using big counterweights so taller boats can pass underneath. We got back to the marina and loved seeing this catamaran docked across from us. Looking over Puget Sound, we could see there was a large cruise ship docked on Pier 66 in downtown Seattle. It's on the central waterfront near Belltown, close to the Seattle Aquarium and Pike Place Market area. Ken is balancing on a 4-foot ledge on the side of the boat to attach sunshades on the window. We have interior blinds, but this allows us to have the blinds open, still be able to enjoy the view, but get some sun protection. It also hinders people from being able to see inside the boat. Ken wanted to attach the bottom snaps using the dinghy, so we left Lexi on board and she was not happy being left behind, but she peeked her head out where she could to keep an eye out on us. And here's our finished result. We spent the evening in and enjoyed another great sunset in Seattle. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.